Okay, so now, folks, it is the United Nations General Assembly, and we have our correspondent, Jose Vega, who is on the ground. We're going to bring Jose in live from the streets of New York City in just a minute. But before that, I do want to just show you some of the work that he has been doing out there already. First, at a sort of makeshift Iran regime change exhibit funded by who knows who.
Follow me, okay? Are you recording? Do you see me? All right, so here we are at the United Nations. We're here at 45th Street and 2nd Avenue right now. And it looks like the Israeli propaganda regime is at an all-time high. As you can see down here, they've already got Khomeini. You can stomp all over Khomeini if you like, if you just walk over here. The place is also rifling with the journalists, people who are just trying to get stories, interviews, ask people why they're here. On top of the fact that you have giant propaganda wheels going on, like the Falun Dafa and others, trying to influence diplomats' opinions on, international governments. So it's kind of a chaotic scene here right now. You've also got a lot of police and a lot of security everywhere. Here's what I'm talking about here: this kind of stuff where you can just walk over Khomeini, down with Khomeini, down with Khomeini, down with Khomeini, down with Pezeshkian. Regime change by Iranians. These people are trying to convince people that they need a color revolution. It's completely crazy what's going on here at the United Nations. And this is here at Dag Hammarskjöld Square, what's going on. They set up a whole propaganda outlet, and, I don't exactly know who's putting this on, but this is insane. And this is clearly very well funded to try and get people to fund a war with Iran. So hopefully as the day goes on, we'll be able to interview more people and talk to more people and see what's going on. So stick around.
Well, there is pro-Palestinian protest there, and Jose was there as well.
I think it is. We've got Aaron Bushnell's name on there. All right, so you ready? All right, so today we're here at the Within Our Lifetime Palestine protest in front of the United Nations here on 46th Street and 2nd Avenue. Today is also Rafat Al-Harir's birthday. And in the spirit of his birthday, in the spirit of him being a poet, in the spirit of him being a journalist, I'm out here doing something I haven't done in a long time, which is being a journalist. And also recognizing the 250 plus other journalists that have been killed in Palestine. Today I pay homage to them by coming out here and doing my due diligence by covering this protest as well. So stick around for more.
And he was able to catch up with one of the protesters. Here's that. This is our last pre-recorded clip, and then we will bring Jose in live.
Alrighty, so Jose Vega here, correspondent for Due Dissidents, live at the United Nations, and today I'm here with
John Wilkes, president of Veterans for Peace, Albuquerque.
That is awesome. So tell me, why are you out here today?
I'm out here today because the U.S. is facilitating a genocide, and the only way we can stop it is get the people in the streets and demand it get stopped.
Absolutely. So you know that all the world leaders are coming in here today, right? And that the world leaders are meeting to discuss the question of a recognition of a Palestinian state. Can you tell me what your thoughts are on that?
Well, first off, I wouldn't call them leaders if they were their office holders. If they were leaders, they would have done something 2 years ago. So that's the whole issue. Symbolic acts of recognizing Gaza is wonderful, however, delayed or retarded, but now we need action. We need a support to the Freedom Flotilla, which is soon to land, 50 ships, boats, crewed by civilian activists. We need the aid vehicles to come in unrestricted. We need the armaments to be cut off. We need the political cover to stop.
I agree. Is there anything else you'd like to say in terms of these, office holders, the United States vetoing ceasefire resolutions? Do you have any thoughts on that?
AIPAC is a foreign national entity and needs to be registered. People need to stop taking money from AIPAC and start listening to their constituents. That'd be a big start to getting a more democratic government.
Can you tell me a little bit about Veterans for Peace?
Veterans for Peace is 40 years old this year. It's an international organization. We have 120 chapters in the United States and 7 foreign chapters. Zimbabwe was inducted into our organization last Saturday. our whole mission is to divulge the full, true cost of war. That's just not killing of soldiers or civilians, non-combatants. It's polluting the ground. It's buying all this military hardware that money needs to be diverted into other non-violent causes and issues.
Thank you kindly. It was nice interviewing you and talking to you.
All right, great work, Jose Vega. We're going to bring him in now. Yep. You all know him. He's our longtime friend. He's an activist and a candidate for New York's 15th Congressional District, acting as due distance correspondent for the day. Jose Vega. Jose, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me okay? Am I coming across good?
Yeah, you're fine. You can bring the mic a little closer to your mouth, but you're good.
All right. Well, let's see if this mic is even the one being picked up. But
yeah, no, it's not the one being picked up. No.
Makes sense. It's just the AirPods. Okay, so I'm here on 46th Street and 2nd Avenue here. The Within Our Lifetime Palestine people have set up a major rally here. I would say you can't really see the scope or the visibility of it because of just this one angle. They've added police tape, so you can't even get in anymore unless you go all the way down and about. I think that's one of the ways in which they're trying to suppress this action here. But overall, I think the energy is pretty electric for the second day of the United Nations that's meeting here to debate the question as to whether or not there should be a recognition of a Palestinian state. I've spoken with a lot of people here. Some of those videos I know you've got, we'll probably play them later at a later date or something. But, you know, whether it was stumbling upon a regime change propaganda operation or talking to a lot of pro-Palestinian activists, it has been just a lot of fun. The mood here is energetic, and despite all the hardship and despite all the genocide going on, I think people are optimistic about the fact that there may be a real change.
Yeah, so what is the turnout for these Palestine protests? Because obviously up in the plaza where you had that regime change exhibit, so to speak, that's that Camera Show Plaza, which is quite large. So is there protest activity up there or down near the building itself? Because the UN's on First Avenue, right?
The UN is on First Avenue. They've basically blocked off all of First Avenue for any political activity, and they've corralled all the pro-Palestine protests. So you can see the flags on the top here. I would say maybe there's about 200 people here or so, and it extends over here as well. It's definitely overflowing right now. They're not really sure how to actually contain this or what to do in that regard. All of Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza, which is open to the public miraculously, has basically been overtaken by these pro-Iran regime change people. So there's no way people can go into Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza without, getting bombarded with, regime change propaganda. So all the actual protesters are here in 46th Street and 2nd Avenue.
Well, Jose, you have a lot of experience going down to the UN for protest. Whenever I've gone over there, even in my due dissidence days, there is always a lot of regime change propaganda there. Is that your experience? The Falun Gong people are always there when I've gone over. Like, there's nothing new about that.
No, there's nothing new about that. But I think it goes to show you as well how these regime operations actually work, and also how the persuasion of political opinion works, right? There's a reason why they do have a public outfit. There's a reason why they do try to talk to the common folk as well as the diplomats. See, when you're out here at the United Nations, you do get to talk to, influence, and see people with the blue press badges or just the blue badges to get into the UN, period. Meaning that they know, the regime change people know, that public opinion is a factor, which I would say only doubles the importance for why you need to have kinds of pro-Palestine demonstrations like this, because they are influenced by this. You have to understand that these diplomats, ambassadors, the people that work for them are human beings too, meaning they're susceptible to the same pressures that we are and can be swayed in the same way we are as well. Not all of them are completely without conscience. So it is important that we do have these demonstrations out here, and it's important that it's focused. And this week in particular is explosive because it's about the question of a Palestinian state. And many world leaders are here to talk about that. So, we'll see. I honestly think that these kinds of protests do have an effect, will be positive towards a truly free Palestine.
Have you seen any diplomats walking around that you recognize, or have you seen anybody interact with anyone in the crowd? Because, the way the UN is set up, you can walk in and out. I'm sure there are ways in and out to avoid the crowd, but it's right there in the city. It's right on the street. You pass by the UN a lot of times. You can make yourself very available to the public on your way in and out of the building. There are a lot of people there who are doing right by these protesters. So have you seen any interactions between them, or what do you think the likelihood of that might be?
Yeah, so I've seen delegations of countries like Mongolia, Ireland, South Africa, and other African countries that walk by. You can tell by their pins and stuff, and they might hold up their fist or they might clap and cheer and stuff, but they're clearly on a mission to get to the UN. The big dogs, the world leaders, and maybe even some of the top ambassadors, they're not allowed to just walk around in the public. They're being told that they've got to come in via the motorcade. So we've seen a couple of motorcades come by. Trump's motorcade was here this morning, Macron's as well. But that's the thing. Don't get caught up in just needing the big dogs. No. Well, what is this? Save the Palestinian people, stop the war. Great. All right. Anyway, no Falun Dafa propaganda here. We are pro CCP here. Anyway, sorry, I'm being hijacked here. But regardless, the aides to these diplomats are just as important because these are the people that advise the ambassadors, advise the diplomats, And it's also important why, if you're a protester, if you're an agitator, if you're somebody who calls yourself, an activist or an advocate for a free Palestine and end to genocide, you do have to know what you're talking about. You do have to know what's going on in the world, especially when you're dealing with the UN. If you're talking to them about Palestine, they can hit you with well, what about the genocide in Myanmar, or what the Ethiopians are doing to this country, or the 53 other conflicts? Right. You just have to be ready to know that stuff. I didn't even know that there was there's beef between, I believe, Ethiopia and Egypt over, water management, right? These are the kind of things that you have to know, so that when you do get an opportunity to talk to these people. I used to come to the UN at 6 a.m. to talk to these ambassadors, talk to these diplomats and their aides. And the first thing they want to know is, do you know what you're talking about? Or are you just somebody who's like a radical who wants a free Palestine, who doesn't actually understand geopolitics? And that's not to say that that's wrong. Of course, it's right to be out here to demand the end of the slaughter of children. But if you want to be one league above it, you just got to know your shit. Excuse me, your stuff. We're live.
Do you see there's due dissidents? We're not worried about that, Jose. They call us the home of the F-bomb. So have you seen Zionist protesters out there?
Honestly, no.
Because usually they'll come to bother the pro-Palestine protesters when they know there's going to be a lot of them.
I have not seen any Zionists. Have you seen any Zionists? I'm talking to my cameraman, camera woman behind the phone right now. Have you seen any Zionists? No. Yeah, we haven't seen any Zionists, any pro-Israelis. They're all in the UN right now. They're probably, I think, for example, like these pro-regime Iranian people, I kept asking them, like, don't you think it's weird that Israel wants a regime change? And they just said, well, objectively, it's a good thing that Israel attacked Iran, because now that they've weakened the regime. And they're like, Israel-Palestine's a whole other thing. And I just kept asking, like, okay, but is there a genocide? And he just kept, that's a whole other thing. I was like, no, it's not a whole other thing. That's a cute sign, ma'am. Oh, well, anyway, I tried to, she has this baby holding up a not in our name sign. Oh, anyway, sorry. Anyway, there you go. Look at that. What's that? Come here.
Go ahead.
Here.
Pick it up. Pick it up, camera woman.
She wanted to say hi. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. We're big fans. Tavis Gibbons, Kate Johnson. We watch you 100% live all the time.
Oh, awesome.
And,
right on.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I said awesome and cool. And thank you. You want to hold up that sign?
You guys.
You want to hold up the sign so they can see what you're doing? There you go.
There we go. Right on.
All right.
Awesome.
I can
Right on.
where you were by watching you live on their show. I'm lucky.
Oh, you were watching live?
Oh, she was watching live and found us there. That's far out.
Awesome. Well, thank
That's
you.
funny.
Thank you.
Oh, I hope so. With your help, I will. Thanks.
All right. So are you a little nervous being out? Are you a little nervous being out there?
What do you mean, nervous?
If there are no Zionists, because where else you didn't see Zionists? 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that until you brought that up. And so, but see, that's the thing. I don't know. I was on your show last week talking about how Zionists will stage terrorist action to try and create a state of tension. So it is a very big possibility, of course. I mean, that's always in the back of my mind, but you also can't be dominated by fear. That is the one thing I would let everybody know, is you cannot be dominated by fear. You know, I think you have to think about the people in Palestine that don't have a choice. You know, when they are being rained on by Reaper drones and missiles, you know, we have a choice to act and we should take it. You know, despite the hardships, despite the violence that may come across us, we do this for a greater purpose than ourselves.
Please clap.